It's that time of year again, and it's getting a little bit cold, and the word flu is coming up in everybody's mind. Would you recommend the flu vaccine as a pulmonologist to all kids, to certain kids, and what kids would you target?
Influenza is a viral infection that can be quite serious in many pieces of our population. And what we've learned over the years is that children are the #1 target and the #1 means for other people getting flu vaccine. So what recommendations have evolved is that children, especially between the ages of 2 and 5, should be immunized against influenza, both to protect themselves from serious infection, but also to protect their siblings and other family members they come in contact with.
Well, kids 6 months to 2, it's probably a wise idea to give the flu vaccine to if we could. Is that true?
This is also quite true. Even though the recommendations are 2 to 5, most experts believe that children even as young as 6 months of age should be protected against influenza. Remember, this virus can cause serious respiratory problems, and younger children are even more susceptible to the serious complications of influenza. And since the vaccinations have become more and more safe over the years, the feeling is that influenza vaccine is a very valuable tool for protecting our children.
Also, if a child had heart disease or immune problem or had a asthma-like problem, it would be very wise to target those kids especially. Is that true?
These are very important populations as well. Any child which has an underlying chronic condition, whether it be asthma, cardiac disease, an immune problem, all should be protected from influenza vaccine with influenza vaccine so that the more serious complications of influenza could also be avoided.
If you gave the flu vaccine, there are 2 ways of giving it today. Isn't there one you can give it by injection, and in the injection there's one without any preservative because there's concern about that. That's the ones we give to the younger kids. But there's a new one you can give it without an injection. Is that true?
This is also true. There are 2 forms of influenza vaccine that are available. The standard injectable form of influenza vaccine is a killed virus which no longer has a preservative which previously had been a concern. This form of the vaccine can be given to all ages and in all conditions. More recently, a form of influenza vaccine has been developed that can be administered in the nose without requiring any injection whatsoever. This form of influenza vaccine can be given to children as young as 2 right through adults up to age 49. And this form of influenza is especially helpful in children in that it has a level of protection which may be even better than the injectable form under certain conditions, and also spares the child the trauma of having another shot being given when he goes to his physician's office.
Sometimes there's shortages with the flu vaccine for children, and unfortunately the adult version does have a preservative in it, but it can still be used in children probably safely too. Is that true?
It can be. The concerns about the preservative seem to be related to the quantity of the preservative over prolonged periods of time. A single dose of flu vaccine with a preservative in it, as the only dose that patient may be getting, is certainly not going to have any risk for having any long-term problems. Compared to the risk of getting influenza, if the only form that's available is the one with the preservative, it is still recommended that this form be given as opposed to running the risk of catching influenza in a given year.
A young child, first year getting the flu vaccine, people should remember they probably should get a booster a month later, the first time, and every year subsequently a single dose. Is that true?
This is true. Remember that for the first year children get flu vaccine, they get 1 dose with a booster 1 month later. This is necessary to get the optimal protection. All subsequent years, only 1 dose of the vaccination is necessary. And remember, influenza vaccine must be repeated on a yearly basis, whether it's the injectable form or the nasal form.
Thank you very much.